Hello guys, what's up? I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time we are taking a look at Transformers Robots in Disguise, Warrior Class, Decepticon, Scatterspike. And I think this toy is pretty cool, but I don't think it tops Quillfire. I'm not disappointed that I have this thing, but I don't know, it's just kind of the same thing. It doesn't even change the head. The paint job is, I would say, downgraded from the Hasbro Quillfire. I don't have the Takara Quillfire, so I can't really compare it to that. But I like the exciting color scheme of Quillfire more than this, with the tan and brown. I think that looked pretty good. While I do like this, the dark red actually really does work. I just like the Quillfire more. If you rotate it to the back, I find it very interesting that they painted in the dark red here. But they left the headlights and the detail here in that dark red, so it all looks like it's just been unpainted. But it is painted, it's just all that dark red. That's interesting, I guess. I kind of like that, because if they're not going to go the extra mile with actually painting in those details, at least it looks continuous. It is a different tone because it's painted on black pieces, but I gotta appreciate it that at least it looks continuous. The only purple you get in this is the top bar, and you can see the ball joints in there. Nothing really much going on with that. You can see the yellow headlights and the silver grille, which is very nice, and you can also see a toe wrench right there, so that's pretty cool. Nice wheels, you get some yellow painted in, although it looks like green because, once again, that's painted over black plastic. With that out of the way, there's not really much else I can say. I do like the alt mode, it's just I like the Quillfire one more just because it had two different paint applications, the tan and the brown. And hell, the headlights were red in that, which I think is pretty cool. Although I think the yellow is better on this than having it in red. So with that out of the way, not much else to say. There's pretty much the robot mode. You can see the weapon gets stored underneath there, at least one of the weapons. So, let me zoom out, and we are going to transform the figure. So, what am I saying? To start with the transformation, what you want to do is you want to pull this out, like so, and just leave it like that. And then pull down the legs, separate it, flip out the feet, and then pull out the gun. And the reason why you want to do that is so that you can get easier access to pop off the gun. Like so, and you can just put that off to the side. Let's see, what else do? You pop this from the back, like so, and then you pull down the arms, and this is a bit of a pain. If you move it this way, as you pull it back, it gets easier. So bring down the arms, and then flip out the hands. Do the same thing to the other side, pull down the arms, and flip down the hand. Next, what you want to do is bring this, disconnect the window, like so, bring that out, flip this down, and before you connect it, you want to lift that up and rotate the waist, like so. Then, you want to connect this section into here, and you're going to bring that up, and that's the proper transformation, not so much this. I've seen people do that. No, it's this. And then you're going to open up this trunk section, and something that I really like about Scatterspike compared to Quillfire is that I can actually feel the ratchets as I pull out the head. It feels like there's some ratchet thing going on. In fact, there is. I can see the indentations for the ratchet. And I'm not sure if Quillfire was supposed to have that, but I can't feel much of that. It looks like Quillfire actually sort of has that, but it's made to lock into certain spots. At least that's what I think it looks like. But on Scatterspike, they fixed that completely, and that looks more like a ratchet, so I do like that. Anyways, close the hood, and there you have Scatterspike in her robot mode. It is actually a her. It was referred to as female in the show. Now, for some reason, my arm on this side seems to droop at some point. It's got a stress mark on the top there, which is unfortunate. but I can move that to the side and it seems to lock into place, but I don't want to do that in the risk of stretching that out. Anyways, the articulation is the same for Quillfire. You get a bobbing head that moves side to side. You get up and down motion. You get a ball joint up here, and then a hinge. You get a hinge right here. You get a hinge right here. You also get a hinge right there. You get a ball joint right here. You get a rotation, and you get a hinge, and you get a hinge. So lots of hinges, which is pretty cool. And you also get a rotation at the waist. I do like the yellow Yellow highlights. Yellow hell-lights. That's weird. I think that looks pretty good. Let me lower the camera just a bit, because she is pretty short. I'll give her that. So, there's that. I do like how this section forms kind of a tail section. I think that's nice. And you'll notice that one of these quills stick out from the back. Well, you're supposed to pop that off, and that's a quill weapon. What's cool about this figure is in the show, yes, I actually watched the show, pretty much Quillfire spikes makes the target drunk, basically, or drugged, or something like that. For Scatterspike, it does something different. Every quill does something different, like you get magnetized, or you just become crippled or something, I don't know. But every quill does something different, so I do like that. Anyways, she comes with this gun in the same color, the maroon color, which is pretty basic, but at least she comes with something. So there's that, and I guess it would be cool if you could plug this onto here, have something like that, but at least you can have that, so that's nice. This section doesn't seem to want to stay in, for whatever reason. Stays in better on the Quillfire I found than the Scatterspike, but that's just how it is. Comparison between the two. I still like Quillfire a little bit more, just because the colors really pop and work for the character. Also the silver and the red and the gold just really works for this toy. But Scatterspike works pretty well too. It's just a bit more toned down. I like the purple, I like the yellow, I love the red, but I just like the color scheme of Quillfire more. I think it's because this is a repaint, and usually with the repaints, they really stand out because they can go all out there. But I guess because this is an in-canon character, they pretty much had to make the color scheme like that, so they couldn't go so far out there. But that's funny, because she has a different, she has a different head on the show. It's pretty much like Quillfire, but it's got the additions of this section and a chin. This one doesn't share that, and I feel like it needs to have that. It's funny because one of the other Decepticons in her squad, Paralon, was released as a Toys R Us exclusive, and also does not share the same head that was seen in the show. So that's something, I guess. So with that out of the way, do I recommend Scatterspike? I would say if you missed out on the Quillfire, yes, but I feel like a lot of people can still get Quillfire, so I would definitely recommend getting Quillfire over this. But if you really like dark red and you love this purple color, it's a metallic purple color. Well, not metallic, but it's like a lavender or something. I don't know my colors. But if you like the color scheme of this, yeah, definitely go get it. If you like her on the show, yeah, definitely go get it. But is it... sorry, what's with my words today? God, I can't talk. Do I think that she's something that you need in your collection? I don't know. If you want more Decepticons in your collection, then yeah, I guess. You know, it's a repaint, but at least it adds one more Decepticon to your collection. So with that out of the way, I thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I screw up on my words. And I'll see you guys next time.